But now I will try to place you in context of what it is, what the Lord is telling me, and most likely telling you, right? Because I come from this moment in which I consider I know my objectives, I know the ditches I have to dig, right? But then I am waiting for the result, for the Moabites to be delivered to me. I'm waiting to see them lying down on the ground. So what he's telling me is, okay, a little bit more about the context. What's happening here is there is a crisis, a financial crisis. Things are very expensive, extremely expensive. People are hungry and they don't have means to buy barley, to buy stuff. And here came Elisha, and he gave to the king very good news. He said, Lord, look, that's the news that Elisha said. Then Elisha said, hear ye the word of the Lord. Thus said the Lord, tomorrow, about this time, shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel, in the gate of Samaria. Then a Lord on whose hand the king leaned answered the man of God, and said, behold, if the Lord will make windows in heaven, might this thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. So that is the prophecy that Elisha was giving to the king. He was telling him, tomorrow it's going to be okay. Tomorrow you'll be able to buy very cheap barley and very cheap. Of course, they didn't know the guy, the prince of the king. He was incredulous. He couldn't imagine how that will come to pass. How will that happen? And Elisha gave him a very strong prophecy, very strong judgment. Say, yeah, you will see it, but you won't be able to eat thereof. So the story continues. Flight of the Syrians, and there were 4 leprous men at the entering in of the gate. And they said one to another, why sit we here until we die? If we say we will enter into the city, then the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit still here, we die also. Now therefore come, let us fall unto the host of the Syrians. If they save us alive, we shall live, and if they kill us, we shall but die. And they rose up in the twilight to go into the camp of the Syrians. And when they were come to the uttermost part of the camp of Syria, behold, there was no man there. For the Lord had made the host of the Syrians to hear a noise of chariots, and a noise of horses, even the noise of a great host. And they said one to another, lo, the king of Israel had hired against us the kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Egyptians to come upon us. Wherefore they arose and fled in the twilight, and left their tents, and their horses, and their asses, even the camp as it was, and fled for their life. And when these lepers came to the uttermost part of the camp, they went into one tent, and they eat and drink, and carried thence silver and gold and raiment, and went and hid it, and came again, and entered into another tent, and carried thence also, and went and hid it. Then they said one to another, we do not well. This day is a day of good tidings, and we hold our peace. If we tarry till the morning light, some mischief will come upon us. Now therefore come, that we might go and tell the king's household. So they came and called unto the porter of the city, and they told them, saying, we came to the camp of the Syrians, and behold, there was no man there, neither voice of man, but horses die, and asses died, and the tents as they were. And he called the porters, and they told it to the king's house within. And the king arose in the night, and said unto his servants, I will now shew you what the Syrians have done to us. They know that we be hungry. Therefore are they gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, when they come out of the city, we shall catch them alive, and get into the city. And one of his servants answered and said, let some take, I pray thee, 5 of the horses that remain, which are left in the city. Behold, they are as all the multitude of Israel that are left in it. Behold, I say, they are even as all the multitude of the Israelites that are consumed. And let us send and see. They took therefore 2 chariots, horses, and the king sent after the host of the Syrians, saying, go and see. And they went after them unto Jordan, and lo, all the way was full of garments and vessels, which the Syrians had cast away in their haste. And the messengers returned and told the king. And the people went out and spoiled the tents of the Syrians. So a measure of fine flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. And the king appointed the Lord, on whose hand he leaned, to have the charge of the gate. And the people trod upon him in the gate, and he died, as the man of God has said, who spake when the king came down to him. And it came to pass, as the man of God had spoken to the king, saying, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, and a measure of fine flour for a shekel, shall be tomorrow about this time in the gate of Samaria. And that Lord answered the man of God and said, now, behold, if the Lord should make windows in heaven, might such a thing be? And he said, behold, thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. And so it fell out unto him, for the people trod upon him in the gate, and he died. So that is the whole context of the story. Nobody knew what was going to happen. The leprous were there. They were also dying. They were as hungry as the rest. And yeah, I think you got the whole picture, right? It's a message of faith, of trust the Lord. His ways are not your ways. We might not know, we might not even imagine how things will happen, but we need to know and understand that it will happen. Whatever it is that you set your mind to, whatever it is that you consider like your Moabites, they will be delivered unto your hands, one way or another.